One of Britain's greatest heroes was born right here in Highbridge in Somerset. And I bet you didn't even know his name. But that's okay, because if you come with me, I'll tell you the story of Major Frank Foley and how he became known as the British Schindler.
Francis Edward Foley was born here at number 7 Walrow Terrace on the 24th of November 1884. The third son of a railway worker, Frank would grow on to become a well-educated and well-travelled man. Becoming fluent in both French and German, he would then go on to serve in the British Army in World War I. However, in 1917, Frank would return home after being wounded on the Western Front. But those language skills I mentioned were noted by senior officials. And 2 years later, he was interviewed and subsequently recruited by the British Secret Service, what we now know as MI6, and he was sent to the British Embassy in Berlin.
Well, now that Frank was a top British spy, his cover job was as director of the Passport Control Office. And so this meant he could keep track of the comings and goings, he could recruit more agents to his cause, and he could keep his finger firmly on Germany's political pulse. And this is where his dangerous double life really began.
Frank would spend the next decade observing the growing anti-Semitism in Germany during the rise of Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party. And from 1935, an ever-growing number of Jews appealed to Frank's office in order to obtain immigration visas to the likes of Palestine, the United Kingdom, and other parts of the then British Empire. He had queues of people outside of his office, all desperately trying to flee the country. And despite strict immigration laws, Frank would bend the rules to help as many people as humanly possible.
In the end, he ended up issuing 10,000 visas. That's more than the population of this town of Highbridge. And he would even take some visas personally to the concentration camps to rescue people at the 11th hour from persecution. He broke so many domestic laws, forging passports and documents at great personal risk. He would even shelter some people in his own flat in 1938.
But for the activities of this saintly man, we wouldn't be here today, and I would be a statistic in the Holocaust.
And he did all of this for nothing. No money, no titles, no credit whatsoever, much to his want, I imagine. He was a humble man after all. But we remember him in the 21st century with things like this. We've got a statue here in Highbridge in his honour, and there is also one up in Stourbridge, where he eventually retired and passed away in 1958. Major Frank Foley, a true Scarlet Pimpernel of the Jews.